All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the January 26th Oakland workshop. And this workshop is to select our next town commissioner. So how this process is going to work is we have 6 applicants that are going to come forward and answer a few questions from the commission. And what we'll ask for is the applicants to wait outside until called. We're going to start that. Is there anything else, Elise?
I think that's it. I've told them all they need to speak into the microphone directly so that it can get picked up on the recording.
Right. Okay. So very important that you speak into the microphone. And that's for everybody who has a microphone. We get a lot of calls that people at home can't hear, and these microphones have a hard time picking it up. So when you come up to speak, just talk direct into the microphone and look straight in at the microphone. You'll be fine. Okay. So with that, who's our six applicants tonight? All right. So if we can get everyone, but we're going to start with John Torito. If everybody else can start, be great. Thank you. And by the way, guys, thank you very much for doing this. Thank you. And how we're doing this, guys, is it's in order of how the applications were submitted to the town is how we're doing this. All right, John, thank you very much for coming tonight and participating and showing your willingness to take on this role. So we appreciate you. So we're going to start with questions, and we'll start with Commissioner McMullen first.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. John, what is your why? Why do you want to be a commissioner in the town of Oakland?
My why would be kind of multifaceted, I guess I would say. I'm a longtime resident. I've been here for 31 years, and I brought up my 3 kids here. I love that this place is a place that is a small town that's a community, but I love that there's a lot of natural things around here. Our kids grew up making forts in the woods, and I love that this town is a small town. I was here in the time when we would get together for Heritage Day, and that was a bring a dish moment. So I know a lot of neighbors, and I know that because this small town is that kind of a community. I like that about this place. I like that it's different than other places. And you know what? I like living here, and I want to see if we can keep that small time feel part of what we do in Oakland. I support it.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Ramos.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. Torito, what is your vision for the future of our town? What changes would you advocate for, and why?
Well, that's a good question, but it's a little loaded because I'm not exactly sure what the scope of a councilman would be able to do to change or to project a vision. I know that is a team issue, and that as the team or as the council goes forward with visions, I would be a voice. So part of my vision would be to encourage that voice to be one that would bring this community together. Do that in a way that there's a lot of great things that are going on, and I give you guys a ton of credit for that. But that's also something that can fade away. And you know, it's obvious we don't have council people that stay on the council forever. So maybe I can be a next generation of passing the torch of keeping that alive. I like my neighbors. I like living here. So what I want to do is I want to find ways that if there are things that neighbors are concerned about, we just talked about some here in the audience about, you know, some of the trees or some of the way that we can keep Oakland small. Those would be the things that I would want to champion and have a voice for.
Right. Thank you. So, next is my question. Considering a town must involve, what would be your ideas to ensure the town's financial health remains intact, stable, and sustainable?
Well, I think accountability is a big part of that. And I think the town council, I believe, I understand, is one of those accountability factions for the money in town. So I would want to make sure that I review the things that you guys get. We're not always privy to that, but the information you get, and I would want to put that into scope to see if we're actually being good stewards of what we've been given. We have limited resources here. I think we could all agree at that. But what I would want to do is say, okay, is this really worth it? I think that's worth actually polling some of the folks in town to say, would this be worth it to you? And maybe finding ways to encourage the stuff that is worth it for our town people.
Thank you.
Hey, John,
Hey, Mike,
good to see you.
good to see you. Sir.
All right, mine, kind of mirrors actually. If appointed, what, if anything, would you like to see and done differently?
I think this, I wouldn't necessarily say differently because I believe that everybody's got an individual place and everybody has their own personality, strengths and weaknesses. What I would hope is that if I were given a seat, that my strengths and weaknesses, my flavor, if you will, would also be accepted at this table. And that I think that there's great things going on, but can I add to that? I think maybe I could. I don't have a specific thing, Mike. I don't know that I would say, well, we got to take that down or this ought to not be. You know what? That to me, I think is less productive. But I think I would like a voice at the table.
Great. Thanks, John. That's it for you. Thank you. All right, Jessica. All right, so next we have Steve Ivy. So Mr. Ivy, thank you for coming in tonight and thank you for taking this on. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you for hearing me.
Mr. Ivy, we have 4 questions. We're going to start with Commissioner McMullen first.
Good evening, sir. Mr. Ivy.
Good evening.
My question is, what is your why? Why do you want to be a Town of Oakland commissioner?
Well, I've got a lifetime of tremendous experience, some wisdom, discernment. I think I could make an impact. Oh, no, probably every area. I've been on 3 different school boards, private school boards. So I know something about that. I know the charter schools near and near to everyone. So I have a good bit of experience there. And served on the code board here about 10 years ago. But just want to make be available to use those assets and experience that I've had. I've served on a dozen different boards of different organizations, not business, but just charity type things. So quite a bit of experience in that regard. Multiple, never could figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. So jack of all trades.
Right, thank you. Commissioner Ramos?
Good evening, Steve.
Good evening, Saul.
What is your vision for the future of our town? What changes would you advocate for and why?
Would not want to change the character of the town. I think it's very unique. I would love to find ways to expand the tax base so that it's not so heavy on the homeowners. You guys do a great job. This park over here is fabulous. You have all the events. The town does still maintain its character. And so, I would be a custodian trying to keep it that way.
Great. My question is, considering a town must evolve, what would be your ideas to ensure the town's financial health remains intact, stable, and sustainable?
Okay. Well, I'm a certified management accountant. I have an MBA. I've had over 1,000 employees at various times. So I know how to read a financial statement and a CMA versus a CPA. CPAs tell you what's happened. I look forward to see what's going to happen. And I think that's that way nothing slips up on us.
Commissioner Satterfield.
Ivy?
Hey, like,
Um,
mhm.
My question, if appointed, is there anything you would like to see being done differently by the town commission?
By the town commission. You know, I have not been terribly observant of the commission over the years. I know we had a really close mayoral race and I watched that. But I think, you know, you guys you're doing a good job. I think, you know, you got staff that reports. I like the way that you delegate and let them do their job. But I also like the way that you're all involved. I see different people showing up at different events. And so you're in the community and at the events. So I like that. I think that's how you keep your ear to the people.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you.
Steve.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can stay, Steve. You're allowed to stay. All right, next is Chris Keller. Chris, we'll ask you 4 questions from the commission. So we'll start with Commissioner McMullen first.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
How are you?
My question is, what is your why? Why do you want to be a Town of Oakland commissioner?
Okay. My why is because I moved to this lovely town about 5 years ago and just really have enjoyed the area. And about a year ago, got engaged more in the town with, seeing what was going on with the mayoral race and meeting with the candidates. And I'm a firm believer that if you want to see things go a certain direction or impact your community, you get involved. And I live here and I plan to live here for a very long time. I hope to be my forever home. And in that case, I want to be able to support the community and contribute to the place that I live. And so as you guys know, I've been involved in commission meetings and spoke always very fairly and honestly, I believe. And I also serve on the Planning and Zoning Committee because, again, I said last year when we had this process that I would serve the town one way or another. So I chose to put my name in and I got on it. And now I'm stepping up again to hopefully participate on the commission.
Great. Thank you. All right, Commissioner Ramos.
Good evening, Chris. What is your vision for the future of our town? What changes would you advocate for and why?
Okay. I'd like to see, really the residential is pretty much built out. So really the next parts of our town will be the commercial spaces. I would like to see thoughtful selections of the projects that go forward. I know that with the charter review, there's going to be things that will be reviewed and hopefully will help address some of that development also as far as what can be approved and not approved in our town, and just continue to try to keep Oakland, but also understand that we do need that tax revenue base with those commercial developments. So try to find things that fit well within the town of Oakland, but also help us with that tax revenue base and continue to try to balance the needs of and wants of the community with the needs of the town as a whole.
All right, next question's for me, Chris. Considering a town must evolve, what would be your ideas to ensure the town's financial health remains intact, stable, and sustainable?
So I would continue on what I just said. I think that we have to find projects that for the remaining commercial land also that help us bring in a tax base of revenue that helps us to do the things that we need to do. I know one of the items on the agenda tonight, the impact and permitting fees, is something that I've personally addressed in previous meetings about making sure that we get those up to speed so that with the development that we do have coming, we're maximizing the opportunity to fund our infrastructure appropriately with those projects. And again, just trying to make sure that we balance the needs and wants of the residents of the town with the opportunities for tax base with commercial development and the ongoing residential development.
Thank you. Mr. Satterfield?
Chris?
Mike.
Okay, if appointed, what, if anything, would you like to see being done differently by the town commission?
I really think that in the last year, transparency has been a big topic of discussion for a lot of reasons, implied and otherwise, whether, they were actual situations or whatever. I think that the town has made major strides in that. So I would just say continuing with that, continuing to be transparent with the actions of the commission, encouraging more and more of our residents like myself. 5 years ago, I moved here. Just a year ago, I got engaged, and it's always nice to see a lot of the familiar faces. I was one of my neighbors who attended the Heritage Festival with me this weekend. We actually went a year ago, and it was funny because he's like, so many people. I'm like, I've met most of them from coming to the meetings here and getting involved in planning and zoning and things. So I think just always keeping everything transparent and making sure that we're communicating things well to the community, so there isn't any room for misinterpretation of things.
All right, great, Chris. Thank you very much, Chris. Chris Keller. You can stay in, Chris. Wake up, Jessica. Let's do that. He doesn't care anymore.
Mic check. All right.
Hey,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Clayton, how are you tonight?
Good. How are you?
Good, Clayton. Thank you very much for doing this. We really appreciate it. And,
Of course.
And
Thank you.
So what we're going to do, Clayton, is we're going to ask you a series of questions from each commissioner. We'll start with Commissioner McMullen first.
How you doing, Clayton? Good evening.
Good evening.
My question is, what is your why? Why do you want to be a Town of Oakland commissioner?
Well, my why is very simple. I love Oakland. Since I started coming here back in 2008, this has been a community that I've cared tremendously about. First, bringing me here due to the environmental issues of Lake Apopka and learning about that, and certainly advocating for environmentalism here and quality of life, the protection of the lake, and also seeing that it's not degraded due to overdevelopment or continued dumping or airports and things like that. So I had a strong sense of place associated with Oakland as being special and unique in Orange County. And I think that I've amassed a number of talents and experience that can really affect things in a positive way. So that's my why.
Great. All right, Commissioner Ramos.
Good evening, Clayton.
Good evening.
The question is, what is your vision for the future of our town?
Well, my vision is to try to enact what the citizens want. Ultimately, it's the role of a city commission or town commission to listen to its citizens and to guide the rules, the ordinances, the zoning, the use of tax dollars in a direction that the citizens want. So I think that a vision would be a functioning government that acknowledges what its citizens want and plans for the long term and not just the short term in what city and town can deliver. And I think that certainly a vision of appreciating and honoring the things that make us so unique. Right? We're a very special, small town. And when you're in Oakland, you immediately know it. Whenever I bring people here, some of the first things that they mention is the small town charm of it, the beautiful trees, the fact that the roads are still dirt, the wonderful event that just happened last weekend with the Heritage Festival. Those things absolutely have to be preserved, but we also have to modernize. So looking forward for the 21st century and bringing things that are resources to citizens here, like fiber optic wire internet, right, to enable all different kinds of remote businesses and operations here that aren't available currently. So those kinds of things. Mhm.
Right. Question for me, Clayton, considering a town must evolve, what would be your ideas to ensure the town's financial health remains intact, stable and sustainable?
Well, financial health is easier to manage in a town because a lot of it is predictable from the tax base of the people who live here, of course. I also think that there's a great opportunity for us to look for ways that we can leverage improvements in the town through tax dollars. I have a history of bringing millions of dollars in state appropriation funds from Tallahassee through bipartisan support to the projects that I conduct around all of Orange County and many other places around in Florida. This is something that is easier than many people believe it to be, especially when you're advocating for things like economic development or changes to roads, stormwater, the burying of power lines, all of the types of things that cities need to go through to modernize, right? Making sure that we prioritize things also in a hierarchy of what's most important to citizens and what's the best use of the tax dollars that we have. I also think it's really important to see any kind of financial plans and a strategy is something that can go through changes and be amended. And though it's very important to stick with a plan, right, you have to adjust to it based on reality, and running pro formas and budgeting for international related projects is something I have literally over 2 decades of experience doing.
Thank you. Commissioner Satterfield.
Yes, sir.
All right. Appointed, what, if anything, would you like to see done differently by the town commission?
Well, I think that when it comes to doing things differently, I can't speak to that as much as I would like to, because I think that there's definitely been a bit of a trade-off in the last couple of years in the fact that on the second and fourth Tuesday, my current responsibilities in the evening have me in downtown Orlando. Obviously, those things would change. So I haven't been able to pay as close of attention to things as I would like to. But as a citizen here, right, I see that, well, we have tremendous growth on the borders of Oakland. Oakland has some important decisions to make. We certainly can look to places like Claremont and Winter Garden for examples of what to do and what not to do. And I think that being very cognizant of that is tremendously important. I also really like some of the things that you all have attempted to do with inviting citizens to come in and to speak with the mayor and to have open time to communicate with city officials, town officials. That's very, very important. And I would definitely love to continue those types of things, and that we have the blessing of being a small town. And that way we can handle things, I think, more personally and be a better sounding board to hear the concerns of citizens than maybe the whole county or the city of Orlando or in Jacksonville with Duval, where they're dealing with a tremendous amount of citizens and that responsibility. So as far as things different, not sure, but I'd certainly like to be part of the elements that I think are working. And it's that kind of wonderful communication between citizens and the elected officials and the appointed officials.
All right. Thanks, Clayton. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Good evening, Jimmy. How are you?
Very good.
Good. Thanks for coming in tonight. Thanks for doing this. So Jimmy, we're going to ask you 4 questions from each commissioner, and we'll start with Commissioner McMullen first.
All righty. Good evening, Jimmy. Thanks for coming. My question is, what is your why? Why do you want to be a Town of Oakland commissioner?
Well, I've lived here for quite some time now, and I've taken advantage of all of the amenities that this town has to offer, and I think it's time to pay back. Visit the parks, and we just enjoy everything about the town. I have a couple grandkids now that I like to bring and share in the activities that we have here. And it's just time to do my part and pay it back a little bit.
All right. Commissioner Ramos.
Good evening, Jimmy. My question is, what is your vision for the future of our town?
That's a good question, and I think it's one of the biggest questions there is. I used to work for the city manager in California, and one of the first things I did when I was there was we developed a survey to ask all the citizens of the town, what was their vision for the town? What was their list of priorities? We ended up doing it the old way. We did stamps and self-addressed envelopes, and we distributed surveys throughout the town. We hand delivered them to each resident. And we did that because not everybody's got an email address or access to email address. So it was a big job, but it got us some really good results. And in the surveys, you have to ask, if you want to know something, you have to ask the question 3 times, because the third time is going to get you the real answer. And that's how the surveys kind of work. There's a whole science to doing surveys. And so I think it's really, I've never seen a list of priorities that the town has of what they want to do. And we were quite surprised to see some answers that we didn't really expect, never thought of. And so I think that is probably one of the priorities that I would think we need to do, and really get the whole town involved in what they think that what we should be doing. As far as I'm concerned, personally, I love this town. What brought me here was the trees, you know, the small town atmosphere, the just going to a park and not having it totally crowded and driving in here and those kind of things. But I also know that a town needs a base. And you got to have some commercial development for that. And I think that's fine. It just has to be controlled. We have to kind of watch it and make sure that it's done right. And we don't have to turn it into an Orlando, but we can be it into something that will sustain what we have and improve on what we have, but still maintain that small town. That's what I'd like to see.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right, Jimmy, a question for me. Considering a town must evolve, what would be your ideas to ensure the town's financial health remains intact, stable, and sustainable?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was just mentioning, is that we have to have some commercial development that has to be there. And it's money that comes in that sustains what we're doing and also improves on what we're doing. We have a bunch of housing units that are here now, which is also bringing to our tax base. But there's a play there that's got to be, you know, it's got to go to a vision. It's got to go, what do we want? How big do we want to be? Well, we have a pretty big geographical area, and there's a lot of opportunities there to put in what we need to sustain that. But there's also maybe some room for more recreational places and things that we set aside. But I think it's important that we decide first, how big do we want to be? Where do we want to grow? What do we want here? Do we want to be just like Winter Garden, have a downtown area maybe? Or do we want to find those places that can give us that tax base that will help us do things like put us on the city sewer, get rid of the septic tanks that we have and that contribute to the lake and the problems that we have there. But I think it's doable. It's very doable to be able to have both things and still maintain a small town atmosphere.
Thanks, Commissioner Satterfield.
Hey, Jimmy.
How you doing?
All right. If appointed, what, if anything, would you like to see being done differently?
Well, not really sure we have to do a lot different. There's a lot of opportunities to do really some good work here, but we have to decide what it is we want to do, and have to have kind of a decorum on how we're going to pursue that. And there's different ways. I mean, we have a city manager that here besides commission. And that type of political situation can be changed. So say we want the city manager to have more say in what we do, right? Maybe we want the mayor to have more say in what we do. It depends on what, and I think we're looking at the city charter right now. And I think the city charter is going to really kind of zero in on what kind of a situation we want to have here, what kind of a power thing we want to have here, how that's going to work. And I think that the new city charter is going to point us in maybe a different direction than we've gone, but also maybe it's working really good so far, and maybe we're just going to keep it the way it is. But I think as long as we have people who want to work for the betterment of the town of Oakland, I don't think we're going to have a problem. You know, and I think that's what everybody really is striving for here. And that's why I don't see like there should be much animosity, if any, because most everybody here really is looking for the betterment of the town of Oakland. And deep down, that's really what we want. And if we can do that, we can work together and accomplish a lot of things. Winston Churchill once said, if you're going to stop and throw rocks at every dog that barks at you, you're never going to get anything done. And so I think that's the thing, is like, we gotta look at that and say like, hey, this, you know, things that are big and really important, we need to address them. But things that are little, just kind of, we don't need to turn into a mountain into a molehill. Let's get on with business. Let's get on with life, and let's do the right thing.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jimmy. Thank you.
Very well.
Okay, so the last applicant of the night, Trilshan Bacon, how are you, sir? Oh, we're doing good. All right, so we're going to ask you some questions here from each commissioner, and we'll start with Commissioner McMullen first.
Good evening, Mr. Bacon. My question is, what is your why? Why do you want to be a commissioner in the town of Oakland?
Thank you for that question. I believe my why is just growing up in Oakland when I was young. You know, I felt like I always wanted to give back. You know, I always walk through the town, either picking up some trash at the court, making sure the court's clean, just trying to give back. And when I went off to the service and did my time in the military for 24 years, I felt like coming back, I need to give back. I felt like every time I came home on leave, felt like there was no place like Oakland. Felt like I always just wanted to be here. You know, I've been all over the world, and I just feel like there was just no place like Oakland. So I feel like what place to give back? Because since I've been back, I've just been trying to help out any way I can. And even if I don't get commissioned, still giving back, still trying to make Oakland better. So I just want to see it better and move forward and prosper.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Ramos.
Good evening, Mr. Bacon.
Evening, sir. How you doing?
What is your vision for the future of our town? What changes would you advocate for and why?
I believe that the change that I see, or not change necessarily, but moving into a better way forward, is in dealing with the inclusion of everybody. Like, not just having this side of 50 or this side of Oakland or the historical part or the new part of Oakland. I just feel like it should be more inclusion programs for the youth, for the elderly. I feel like a lot of times, like, we get in this setting and we don't know each other. So like more picnics, more. She does a great job with community outreach. I know we have a community outreach job that's need to be filled, right? So as soon as we get that filled, we can have a person that just putting out things that we can do to make the community come together. Because a lot of times we have a division, but division don't mean divide. So we just need to make sure that we have something bringing us back together, even if we have a contentious meeting. Hey, come out here. We're having this cookout, even if it's not Oakland sanctioned, it'll be still the citizen sanctioned. So I think we should have more inclusion programs.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bacon.
Hey, Trilshan, next question's for me. It's considering a town must evolve, what would be your ideas to ensure the town's financial health remains intact, stable, and sustainable?
Well, thanks for that question, Mayor. I think that's one of the biggest contention thing that we have the budget. And I just feel like a lot of times with the budget, sometimes us as the citizens don't see the plan that the commissioners have. So when you say, I would say do more stuff on 50, try to put more businesses on 50 as opposed to putting them trying to expand in the neighborhoods and stuff like that. Because we still want to keep that small town feeling, but they be able to, advertise Oakland. Sometimes we might need a resident tax, but a resident tax that doesn't tax the people, but because we need to get the money from us instead of trying to, go out of the community and try. I feel like we just need to work within the budget that we get, and then, maybe that comes with taxing residents, fairer, but also just trying to open more businesses. I know the one that over there by 7-Eleven that we just opened for those businesses out there. I just feel like a lot of people want to do business with us. We just need to do it the right way.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner Satterfield.
Hey, Trilson.
How you doing, sir?
All right, how you, man?
I'm blessed. I can't complain.
All right, my question is, if appointed, what, if anything, would you like to see being done differently by town commission?
I just feel, doing this, getting a PA system is a great start. A lot of times I know we had people that's complaining about it. We couldn't, hear people and stuff like that. So great starting that. But I just feel like a lot of times, like sometimes people don't feel heard. So if they don't feel heard, what good is having a commission and a meeting that's for the people that we try to be open-minded, but they don't feel heard. So I feel like, we might need to go with more, long-term, like not letting people get judged if they come up here and have a difference of opinion, understand where they're coming from, and hey, I understand. Let's meet. Sometimes you might have to meet after the meeting. You might have to stay longer and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. What's going on with this, as opposed to just saying this is my decision and this is what's going to happen. Because especially in the military, sometimes we don't get a chance. We don't get a chance to question orders. But good leaders always come back and say, hey, I know I didn't get a chance to, tell you what we meant by these orders, but let me sit down and talk to you. Because I'm not going to always have time to tell you, sit down and explain to you every time, but you need to trust me. So I think a lot of trust needs to come back into this meeting.
All right. Thanks, Trilson. That's it, folks. Thank you. Okay, so thanks to all the applicants. So that ends the workshop, and we'll wait until 20 minutes till 7 o'clock, then we'll open it up, and then we'll hit this as our first order of business. All right, thank you, everybody. All right, we got a lot to cover tonight, so Elise, are we ready yet? Oh, we started? Oh, okay. All right, everybody. So we're going to call to order the January 28th, 2025 Oakland Commission meeting. If everyone could please stand and remain standing for the chaplain to give the invocation. Chaplain. Amen. Thank you. So just so everybody knows, Andy is the chaplain that is kind of shared throughout the different law enforcement agencies throughout there. So appreciate you, Andy, for coming in tonight and doing that. Thank you. Okay, Elise, roll call.
Commissioner McMullen,
Present.
Commissioner Ramos, Vice Mayor Satterfield,
Present.
Mayor Taylor.
I'm here. Thank you.
We are all here.
All right, so on our agenda, we're going to do the town commission seat one, but I want to first get the proclamation first, and then we'll go on to the seat one. So I'll read the proclamation for Black History Month. Whereas Black History Month recognizes the significant contributions African Americans have made to the United States, and whereas Black History Month celebrates the histories, culture, and achievements of African American citizens, and whereas established by American history historian Carter G. Woodson in 1926 as Black History Week, it was expanded to a month in 1976 during the nation's bicentennial. And whereas in the town of Oakland, African Americans have long been leaders and business owners enriching the community's history. And whereas February serves to honor the vital role of African Americans in the United States and encourages the study of Black history year-round. Now, therefore, I, Shane Taylor, on behalf of the Town of Oakland Commission, do hereby recognize February 2025 as Black History Month and urge all citizens to observe this occasion. Okay. All right, so we just had the workshop. So we all had just for the record, we each got a packet of everyone's applications inside there. And inside this packet was a scoring sheet inside here. Each commissioner has filled out their scoring sheet. And now what we'll do, and if it's okay with you guys here, we have in front of us the commission applications on a ranking sheet where you'll select your your choice. And if it's needed, we need to go 2 rounds or 3 rounds. We do that and we kind of talk through it and stuff like that. What I'd like to do is we each fill out or check your name next to it because it's already got your name on the top. We fold it up, hand it to Elise, and then Elise, as the town clerk, will read them out loud as with your name, so you know. Okay, so if you would mark your person, and then we'll fold them up and hand them to Elise. Again, I want to say, and I think, and if each commissioner would like to say, I really appreciate everyone who applied. It's amazing how many people care about this community in this town. We all want the same thing, which is a great town to live in. So thank you guys for doing that, each one of you. I think we have a great list of candidates that were here, and everyone who applied would do a wonderful job here. So again, thank you very much. Anyone like to speak on that, or are you good? No? Okay.
Great round of applause for everybody who came out here.
Thank you.
I would add to that, what I love that stuck out to me, I heard commercial growth, I heard get involved, I heard listen to the people, I heard budgets. I just heard a lot of love. And so that's what I really love about everyone here talked. I mean, when you ask the question, what can we do differently? Most people pause and it seems like they just want to be a part of the process. So I heard a lot of love for this town and just really coming alongside each other to continue the path that we're going. So I want to say thank you to each one of them because of the love and this really the inclusion and just working together what they were promoting. So thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Pat. Mike, you good?
Yeah, the same thing. Just thank you. It's, oh yeah, you gotta get used to it.
You have to.
You know, after all these years, it is a pleasure to see people that are engaged in the town. So it's really is encouraging that it will push us just further into the future. So thank you all.
Okay, guys, so how this works is Elise is going to read each commissioner's pick, and it is based on 3. So the majority of 3 votes carries, and that person is selected. Okay, so Elise, that's you.
Okay, Commissioner McMullen voted for Chris Keller. Commissioner Ramos voted for Trilshon Bacon. Mayor Taylor voted for John Torito. And Vice Mayor Satterfield voted for John Torito. So we have two for John Torito, one for Chris Keller, and one for Trilshan Bacon.
Okay. So now we got two and one. So now we need to kind of, any questions or concerns or comments that anybody has to persuade one or yeah. Stephanie, is this the right process as a town attorney?
Yes, your charter requires consensus by 3 or more commissioners, and so we will have to keep going through rounds of voting until we get a consensus of 3.
Okay, so with that, then we have John Torito, we have Trilshan Bacon, and we have Chris Keller. So only those 3 people are on the table for discussion. So who would like to begin? Anyone?
And, all right, and I guess I'll give you my reasons. So much for John Torito for being here as long as he has been here, and myself being here that long. I've been able to personally witness what John has, been around and what he's been concerned with, and the respect he has, for this town. And the others, I'm sure have the same thing, but it's just the experience of how long he's been doing that just, truly amazes me, and he's never wavered from that.
All right, I'll speak. I selected John Torito. Same thing. When he's been around town. He has been a member of the community. What I like about John is he's very level-headed. Is what you see. He thinks things through, and he truly wants to try to keep that small town charm that we have, and that's very important to all of us because that's what drew everyone here. So to have an advocate sitting up here for that, I think that would be a plus and a win for the town.
I chose Mr. Bacon for the reasons, kind of like Torito. He's been here for a long time. I mean, third generation here, and him mentioning inclusion for our town, for everybody from Oakland Park to the historic side, unity, development on 50, and people to be heard, not to be judged, trust come back. I picked him for all those, and he's been part of the community a lot. Is all over the events, comes up with great ideas to bring unity. So that's one of the reasons why I see his heart that's in the town for a long time. That's one of the reasons why I did it.
All righty, I went with Ms. Keller. I remember about a year or so ago, Ms. Keller had some concerns about the town, but what she did was, instead of just complain and just have some comments, she got involved. So she joined the Planning and Zoning Committee. She volunteered at the museum. She actually got involved. She came and spoke to me and told me, Joseph, I saw some things that I didn't like, but she said, when I got involved, I saw it differently. So that's the main reason. And then also, I think we need to have diversity of thought up here. All of us been here for a long time. There are new residents that have come in, and they may see things through their lens in a different way. And so all those aspects are the reason I chose Chris, but the big piece was she saw some things, she got involved, and it really changed her perspective as opposed to just seeing things and still just going off what you see without even trying to figure out, is it right or is it wrong, or did I see it in the wrong way? She did her own research and she did it with a way of not leaning any way. And she even checked me on some things too. So I really appreciate that. She said, hey, Joseph, I think you should have stayed quiet on this. And I said, you know what? I thank you and I appreciate you telling me that in a way that it was receptive on both sides. So that's my reason.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's go round 2. See if anything changed.
So Commissioner McMullen chose Chris Keller. Commissioner Ramos chose Chilshun Bacon. Mayor Taylor chose John Torito. And Vice Mayor Satterfield chose John Torito. So we have 2, 1, and 1 again.
All right. Straws. Ideas on the table. Rock, paper, scissors. It's. What do you guys think? Yeah? Okay, so let's do that. I think that's fair. Let's do public comment. So if you would like to come up and speak, we invite you to keep your comments brief and keep them civil and polite. I would say, please, it's just these 3 applicants that we're talking about tonight. So, okay, who wants to go first? Okay, yes, Yamika, how are you? When you come up, please speak in the microphone because Elise will yell at everybody. Thanks. I don't.
This one's working, but it was just off.
All right, anyone else? Kevin? Hurry, Kevin, because the mic's gonna die.
Hi, Kevin Cox. The candidates were great. I enjoyed every presentation and a lot of commenting to myself about the diversity of all the applicants. He's so different, yet y'all said that a lot of the qualities were same, but I was thinking on the way up to the meeting tonight, what question would I ask someone that came up tonight? And the first question that kept popping into my mind was, how many commission meetings have you been to over the last year? And I respectfully, I think Chris really stands out in that regard. And I think, again, her involvement has been pretty phenomenal.
Thank you, Kevin. Anyone else like to speak? Okay. All right, guys. Let's go one more round.
Okay. Commissioner McMullen chose Chris Keller. Commissioner Ramos chose Trilshun Bacon. Mayor Taylor chose Chris Keller. Vice Mayor Satterfield chose Chris Keller.
Okay. All right, Chris, come on up. Chris. All right. We're gonna, okay, because we have to record it, so if I do, that, don't. Okay. All right, so Chris, let's get this over with. Raise your right hand. You ready? I, Chris Keller,
I, Chris Keller,
solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and will obey the laws of the state of Florida,
and will obey the laws of the state of Florida,
that I will in all respects observe the provisions of the charter
that I will in all respects observe the provisions of the charter
and code of ordinances
and code of ordinances
of the town of Oakland, Florida.
of the town of Oakland, Florida.
And I will faithfully perform the duties of town commissioner.
I will faithfully perform the duties of town commissioner.
Congratulations. Chris. Got to sign your life right here. Come on over here. All right, congratulations, Chris. Okay, again, I got to echo, thank you, everybody, for participating. And, it's great to see this much involvement in a town and a community. So again, to all the applicants, everybody was worthy. And thank you very much, guys. We appreciate you. Okay, we're moving on then to the consent agenda. And on this consent agenda, ooh,
We need to make a motion to swear her in.
oh, boy. Okay, anybody would like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to swear Chris Keller in as seat one. Is it one?
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. All right, you're officially in. Congratulations. Okay, so moving on to item 4, consent agenda. And this would be the minutes from the 1/14/25 Town Commission regular meeting. The exception to allow serving of alcohol at Pours at the Preserve and the solid waste collection contract, which some people got new garbage cans today. Okay, anybody would like to make a motion?
That motion to accept consent agenda.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Resolutions, resolution 2025-03, Elise.
Okay, this is resolution 2025-03, a resolution of the town of Oakland, Florida, adopting a schedule of fees for building permits, inspections, and applicable zoning review fees as provided in town of Oakland, Florida, ordinance number 2022-20, providing for legislative findings of fact, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Hey, who's anybody was presenting anything? Okay.
Use these, do I? Kind of like got our own van of white. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the Town Commission. On July 23rd, 2024, the Town Commission authorized a building and safety study to be conducted by Ralph Tillis, a management consulting firm specializing in rate studies for local government. Ralph Tillis completed the study and is recommending a revised fee study to reflect building department fees more in line with the cost of providing this service under the existing structure of the town's building department.
Zoning review fees related to building plans review have also been updated in the attached schedule and included in the fee schedule after consultation with Wade Trim, which is the town's outsourced planners for the town. The revised fees must be adopted by resolution, and the revised fee schedule has been identified as Exhibit A in the resolution. Chapter 553 of Florida statutes authorizes local governments to adopt fees necessary to cover the cost of enforcing the Florida's building code, the Florida's fire prevention code, and relating building standards. If approved by the town commission, the new fees will take effect immediately, with revenues and expenditures being reviewed annually to ensure an accurate reflection of the costs associated with building permitting, inspections, and building-related zoning review fees within the town of Oakland. What you have before you is basically a revised fee schedule. There was no need to do any type of red lines because it's a completely revised, simplified schedule that was put together by Ralph Tillis, who does a lot of these studies throughout the state of Florida. And really what the study does is it takes our existing expenses and our building department, and it looks at those and it identifies sets rates according to our fee structure to help cover those costs. So in the state of Florida, your building department revenues have to be spent within the building department functions. But as you recall, over the past 2 years, our fees were not high enough to cover those costs. They were actually reduced right before a hurricane several years ago, and then there was a statutory requirement that towns could not increase building department fees, and so we were stuck for about 1.5 years. But since that's been lifted, we wanted to come back, review those fees, and recommend a new fee schedule to the town commission. These fees were done and recommended by Ralph Tillis. We contract out our building department services with Wildan. So we have Al Brady here, who is the building official for the town, and then we have Mark Vasquez, who's our building inspector. So a little unique for the town of Oakland, but to manage and run your own building department for a town this size it would be quite the feat. And then, of course, the room and all the other things that go along with doing that in-house. So we simply contract that out. Majority of these fees are going to be paid for by the developers. And then there are the standard, hot water heater fee and the smaller type of building permit fees that our residents will see. But if you see those rates that did increase, but not quite as much as what you'll see for the newer residential developments that kind of take up a lot of the time. So with that being said, you have the attached fee schedule. If you have any questions, I stand for any questions. Al Brady's here, who can help answer from the building department side of things. Anything related to costs of doing the inspections for the town and enforcing the state building code. So with that being said, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, Andy. Anybody have any questions? We do appreciate this, Andy. I think with the upcoming, much development as we have in town here, this is going to be it's going to create a great source of revenue for the town and the building department. And Andy, I believe this takes effect immediately. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so if you bring a permit in tomorrow, you're going to get charged if it's a new permit, you'll get charged the new rate fee schedule. And I guess eventually that will be online or wherever people are doing something. So yeah. Okay, no discussion? Any discussions? Okay, somebody would like to make a motion?
Well, I'd like to say that, Chris,
Yeah.
since you were behind this and pushed this, would you like to make the first motion on this particular item that you actually helped create?
I'd like to make the motion to approve the resolution 2025-03 for the new building and permitting.
Okay, second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? All right, so done. Good job, Chris. Okay, Chief? This is ordinance 2025-02, and it's the first public hearing of this ordinance.
Okay, this is ordinance 2025-02. We make do around here. An ordinance of the town of Oakland, Florida, adopting section 62-90-95 through 62-100 of Article IV of Chapter 62 of the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Oakland, Florida, creating a new Article V, School Zone Speed Enforcement of Chapter 62 Traffic and Vehicles of the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Oakland, Florida, adopting Section 62-101 through 62-111 of Article 5 of Chapter 62 of the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Oakland, Florida, providing for purpose, intent, legislative findings and definitions, establishing a school zone speed enforcement program, and authorizing the use of school zone speed detection systems within the town, providing for program administration, program implementation requirements, and designation of school zones, providing for enforcement procedures, collection of evidence, public records, retention requirements, annual reporting requirements, and remittance and use of collected fines and costs, providing for reservation of certain code section numbers, and providing for codification, conflict, severability, and an effective date.
Good evening. What she said. So after several months of organizing with Stephanie and the contract had been awarded to Altimate. There's a representative from Altimate here, but by Florida statute, one of the things that we had to do was show that there is a speed concern in our school zone, and particularly, and as you can see, that second line there, the speed study was done. We did 3 different speed studies with 3 different companies. The information that's up here now is the one from Altimate, the one that we are going to go with to monitor this program. But during school hours, as you can see, eastbound, westbound, there was 87 and 82 violations, and that's over a 2-day period. And those violations are 11 miles an hour or more over the posted speed limit, because that's what Florida statute requires in order to be able to issue a citation. Those are not 2 and 3 miles over the speed limit. So the 82 and 87, that was violations over 2 days that were either 31 miles an hour while the light is flashing, or 46 miles an hour, which is while the kids are in school. Obviously, the speeding issue has been demonstrated. We do have an issue with speed, which will affect the safety of the students and the parents bringing the students to school. So this is why we've decided to move forward with this program. And this ordinance for the first reading outlines all the things that are required by the state of Florida to implement this speed zone program. So Lorraine Johnson from Altimate is here as well to field any questions, or I can answer some questions too, as I feel like kind of an expert over this now, which I'm not happy about. Oh, no.
All right, any questions from anybody?
I do. Chief, we'll still have people out there for the 2 mile an hour to the 10 mile an hour speed limit, because 6 and 7 miles an hour to me isn't acceptable either.
Of course, by law, what we can issue citations for is different than, we can certainly have officers out there to, stop cars and issue warnings for 5, 7, 8 miles an hour, things like that. But for this program to function in compliance with the statute, it has to be 11 miles or more for them to be issued the citation. But no, we can absolutely have presence out there, uniform presence. As you know, we only have 2 officers on duty at a time. So this program is kind of a fail-safe for us, that if we have a call and have to leave the school zone, we still have a way to make sure that people obey the speed limit.
And I get that. We were through all that. I just want to make sure we're still on track with and I could care less if it is stopping them to warn them.
Sure.
That's probably better because people.
No, this definitely will not replace officers being in the area.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, bless you. The one question I have, and maybe it's a conversation for another meeting, but is there a limit on school zone areas, and if we wanted to expand a school zone? And the reason I bring this up with the Grove that's being built just to the east of the police department, you're starting to see the sidewalk go in. You're going to have pedestrians and kids that maybe walk up that sidewalk to go through. And I don't know if anybody thinks about, do you push that school zone further to the east and start flashing? I think there was discussion that I met with Andy and Public Works, Mike Parker, to talk about having that sidewalk cross over to the north in front of the canal to connect to Winter's Landing's sidewalk. That way you're not kind of disturbing down the path. And then that sidewalk will then connect back up to Oakland Park to an existing sidewalk that's there. So I don't know if that's something we want to talk about and think about in the near future to do that. And I guess that's something that we would, as a town, can do.
Actually have the answer to that, and I feel like I know the answer to Final Jeopardy right now because I know this. And the answer is that the distance of the school zone it correlates to where the crosswalk is for the school. So where the crosswalk is, we're only bound to go a certain amount of distance from that crosswalk. The only way we could extend the school zone is to add another crosswalk specific to the school.
So if we add another crosswalk, east and west, because we could push it all the way to the Presbyterian Church, right? And one over there by the Groves.
If we do that, we also have to consider we need to hire more crossing guards. We can't just add a crosswalk and not make sure that those are safely operated and manned, which we can't, the police department can't do. The school, part of this program fund, $12 of every citation goes towards a crossing guard program. So they can use those funds that are raised by people paying the tickets to go out and hire crossing guards. But yes, we can absolutely do that. We just have to, it's not as simple as just painting a crosswalk on the road. We have to consider. Let it be noted, I'm the only one that has a working microphone. Yeah.
I think earlier on that. We talked earlier, probably in November or so, about the east side and the curve around the Presbyterian Church, the same way too, is a little bit of a.
Yes.
So, just something we can all kind of look at.
Sure.
Okay. Commissioner McMullen, do you have any questions? Okay. Yes.
So to Commissioner Ramos's point, to maybe broaden that, I mean, I understand that we're the one now is kind of direct line with that walkway from Winter's Landing, but if we can't add one here, and add one here, maybe we look at moving that one and redistributing them so that we can expand the area of coverage for the speeding zone without having it just being right in the center. I understand is ideal for this access to the school, but moving them maybe side to side to help expand the area of coverage more. I mean, obviously we should look at what without having to employ 20 crossing guards and whatnot.
The ultimate goal is to keep the kids safe. I don't care what the size of the speed zone is, as long as nobody gets hit by a car, I'm happy.
Okay, anybody have any other questions? Okay. So it is a public hearing, so anybody in the audience like to speak on the matter? Raise your hand. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, uh-huh. Talk
Please quickly.
Talk right into the microphone, please.
Maureen Jacobson, 400 North Nixon Street. I have a question in regards to when you're driving down Oakland Avenue, heading west towards the Presbyterian Church. I know on the right-hand side, it's a little bit difficult to see the end school zone sign. I think that it needs to be a little bit more noticeable for some people because they might not know when the school zone ends. The one that's heading east, you can definitely see it by the police station and fire station. So the other one that it could be confusing for some people. And as for other crossing guards. Maybe it's a possibility for the parents at Oakland Charter to get their hours in if they could help out with that. Thank you.
Uh-oh. Anyone else? Ms. Ross?
Ross, 504 East Gully in Winters Landing, and I just want to make a quick comment. That, for those that are not familiar with Winters Landing, the walkway extends from Oakland Avenue all the way to Mackey, which is our 3rd Street, and moving that walkway would literally, I think, be a disaster because the bike racks are there. There's at least 20, 25 bikes a day that are parked right there by the tree where that walkway ends, and the pattern and the history of that walkway being there and those kids being used to it. And there's a teacher there to walk them across the street every single day. I just don't think it's a good idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one, will close the public hearing, bring it back to the table.
Well, I think those are two very good points that you guys just made right now. And moving that crosswalk would make it difficult because it goes all the way to Mackey and it does have the bikes. And also the idea of using the parents and charters school, their hours to be part of the cross. I mean, it's something we need to look into, Vice Mayor, and to find out if we can use some of those hours for the parents and add additional crosswalks like Chris had mentioned. If we get the additional 2 crosswalks, move the sign further out so they can see where the school zone ends by the crosswalk and use the hours of the parents, I think it would be a win-win, but this is something we would have to talk about, soundboard on it.
Okay, all right, thank you. No more discussion, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept ordinance 2025-02.
All in favor? Okay, so that's the first reading. We go through another reading, correct? All right.
I will get with the principal to see what if the hours could be used for that.
Okay. All right, moving on to other policy matters, which is a very, very important topic to this town. Happens once every 10 years, is a charter review committee appointments. We had 9 people apply for the position. Every one of them, we thank you very much. Every one of them, I think, is qualified. So how this works is the current charter states that the commission appoints their person to this. There's no election or discussion or interviews. It's just, we'll go down the table one by one and we'll say a name. So tonight, we're only going to select 4 applicants. Although there's 5 of us out here, we're only going to select 4 applicants. We're going to give time for the new commissioner to read the applicants. You don't have to speed read right now. Okay, so just take note of the 4 that we select, and then we'll select that 5th applicant at the next meeting in February, is the game plan. Stephanie, I guess the questions that, I'm sorry.
Got it. No, go ahead.
Oh, the questions we had was when we're going to start this process. Do you know a timeline, since your firm will be kind of leading that?
I'll address that. So I'm going to work with Wade and Stephanie to see their availability, and then I will work with each of the candidates to set up a time where a reoccurring time that we'll be meeting. So we'll probably start meeting, I would say, in February, and then move forward from there.
Okay. And at that meeting, it's very important for those committee members to make sure you attend every meeting, please. So again, is another packet that Elise made up. It's got all the applicants' names on those, and it's got their application and resume inside there when they were turned in. So Elise, if we'll do it this way, you'll just go down the line, and we're going to say the person that we would like to appoint to the committee.
Okay, Commissioner McMullen, who is your appointee?
Counselor Motley. Yumiko Motley.
Miko Motley. Commissioner Ramos, who is your appointee?
Kurt
Kurt Geis.
Yes, Kurt Geis.
Okay, thank you. Kurt Geis. Okay, Mayor Taylor, who is your appointee?
My appointee is Sal Morello.
Sal Murillo. Okay, Vice Mayor Satterfield, who is your appointee? Andrea Honeycutt.
All right, congratulations to you guys. So thank you. Now, the remaining applicants, we'll get back with you on that with Chris's selection. So just there's five of you. So just keep an eye out. I don't know if you want to come back to the next meeting just to be on the safe side. All right, so with that, we'll move on to our public forum portion of the meeting. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on a topic that's unrelated to anything that we have discussed so far tonight? All is good in the town of Oakland right now. Okay. All right, we'll close the public forum. And Andy, hold on.
I don't have much other than congratulations, Ms. Keller, Councilwoman Keller. Welcome aboard. Looking forward to getting to know you and work. Outside of that, I'll just yield to any of my department heads that have any announcements on it. We do have solid waste works, which is relevant this week. So if you'd like to update everybody on where we're at with the solid waste.
Yeah, so as everybody heard and we adopted the contract today, the solid waste cans are going out. Be patient with them as they're going out. Regina, she's here from Waste Pro. If you happen to get the wrong cans or something not per your previous request, just if you go to our website, there's a link to theirs. There's a request button. If you hit that button, it'll give a place for you to put in your address, and then the next page will have your requests or, hey, they sent the wrong cans or anything like that. You also be able to put in if you want additional cans and any of those type of, and later on down the road, that'll be where if you have a complaint or anything that they did wrong or missed something, put it in there and address it. So that should take care of a lot of the questions. If you miss the map, there's a map online and on Facebook and on the webpage that just gives you which side of the town you're on and what day your collections are. So I think that pretty much handles everything solid waste concern. Other than that, we've talked about millings a little bit. We have a project we're planning right now. It sounds like it's going to be on West Hull Street. Do another milling spread, a little bit different, lesser method than the gully project, but just another option to try to reduce dust. And we're hoping that that's successful and that's something we can roll out to more areas of the town as we experiment with dust control in the town. And as it gets drier here, we'll start noticing dust picking up again. Another item, as we were talking about the crosswalk this week, I think actually today, the guys were out replacing the crosswalk signs. They had aged. I noticed it, a couple weeks ago. They bought the new signs, and they're actually the new FDOT colors too. So if you notice, they're green now and all that good stuff. Trying to improve the safety there in the school zone. So other than that, I think that's it.
All right. Thank you, Nathan. Jessica, you have anything? Oh, yeah. Last meeting for Jessica.
This is it. Oh. What?
Is that a boo? You don't like Jessica?
Boo.
That's.
Okay, good. Okay.
That ain't
I'll miss you too. First, you have a Oakland bag tote in front of you. That's a gift from Uptown Stitch, who, if you're at Heritage Day this weekend, now has official Oakland merchandise. So you can stop by Uptown Stitch or the center to view it, and hopefully you can wear the town logo around town. I just wanted to thank you all for attending Heritage Day. We had 500 runners participate in the 5K with Healthy West Orange, almost 2,500 guests throughout the day. All of the food trucks sold out. And then some really great news is Oakland Nature Preserve raised more than ever. They raised $5,000 in the silent auction, which is almost like, yeah. I don't want to steal Nicole's thunder there, but that's more than double than they've ever raised before. So it was a really successful day for them. If you didn't have a chance on Heritage Day to go over to the center and look at the new exhibit that Lynn has been working so hard on, swing in. It's two Disney Imagineers that are telling their story of kind of how they became Imagineers and the things that they did at Walt Disney. And then these guys are no stranger to Oakland. You've seen them painting around town on Fridays, and some of their all of their paintings from those excursions are there also. And tonight is my last commission meeting. So I just wanted to take an opportunity and say thank you. I'm a crier, I'm sorry. But first, yeah, I know. Thank you to the residents. It has been so wonderful to serve you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I was able to calm down, but it has been so wonderful to plan, events and fun things that we've gotten to share in that joy and excitement with you all. And so it's been wonderful to get to know you. I promise to come back, but I'm going to be just like you, a guest, and it's going to be awesome. Thank you to the commission. Each of you, you've supported us and you've allowed us and me to plan events that you held dearly, that have been around for 25 plus years. Some of you may not have trusted me in the beginning, but we got there, and it's been so wonderful. And I thank you for that. And then lastly, thank you to my wonderful team. And Lynn, I'm gonna miss you so much. But thank you for a wonderful 4 years. And I'm really gonna miss this place, but I'm off to new things. I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. We're gonna miss you. Yeah. Gabby, you're here tonight. Anything from you? In the finance world? No? Oh.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. Chief, you have anything new? Okay. Elise? No? Okay. Well, we'll bring it back here to there. Commissioner McMullen?
Nothing to add. I just want to say thank you. I call her J Lo, so thank you so much for J Lo for all you've done for us. Thank you.
Commissioner Ramos?
Jessica, thank you very much. I know I bothered you for a lot of ideas and you're always, I'll put it on the back burner, Commissioner. And I didn't want to overwhelm you, but because you're always really busy. Thank you so much for what you've done. And by the way, the event, it was like you finished with like a Super Bowl, like home run this weekend, which was fabulous. One thing I want to mention is that in the Metro plan that I've been going for so many years there, I've been pushing for our town to get our sign on the turnpike and finally making wave with the president to change our intersection where we get off the turnpike to say welcome to Oakland other than welcome to Winter Garden. And now that Oakland's been more on the radar, more and more, every time I go there, I used to have to explain where we're at. Now they're always coming to me saying things are happening in Oakland. So now I'm pushing with the president of the turnpike to finally put, if anything, welcome to Winter Garden and Oakland up until we get our 34760 100% and we remove Winter Garden off that exit. That's my goal for the citizens here.
Jessica, I made a call to the North Pole, Santa wanted me to tell you thank you so very much for everything you've done for that event, and especially for putting him in the shade of the tree because it was really hot before you came here. So I appreciate everything you did. You have all, your team, and you have made that little white house over there a reality. And of everyone that's here, it's probably closest to my heart what went over there. And I couldn't be any prouder of what that building has turned into because of you and you guys. So thank you, and thank you all. So good luck. We'll get you one of them kittens.
Jessica, we've chatted already, and I just want to wish you well on your next adventure. And thank you so much for everything you've done for the town. And I look forward to seeing you when you come visit us.
All right. Yeah. So Jessica, thank you. You know, the year I've been here, you've been a great asset, and I think we've done a lot of good things together. And I'm not, I hate doing interviews and videos and talking and stuff, but Jessica twists my arm, and so it's not me that does those. It's her that makes me come up and do those. And we've had some funny takes. Too bad we don't have blooper reels. That'd be very funny. We have them. Get to bleep out some of the stuff that comes in there. So thank you, Jessica, and good luck where you're going. Real quick, just for the table here, at least, I'm going to mention this ONP appointment with Rick gone. We'll need to select a member here on the table to represent ONP we want to try to do that at the next meeting. Yeah. Okay. All right, so we'll need to do that. And then finally for me is we're starting back up Meet the Mayor. So our Meet the Mayor will be the first Wednesday of the month, and it's February the 5th. So I encourage everyone to come out, and you know, anything and everything's on the table. It's very relaxed atmosphere. Just come on out, sit back, and we'll chat. So that's at 6:30 on the 5th of February, and we're going to do it at the Heritage Center. So it gives you a chance to come in and take a look at the new exhibit that's inside there. So that's it from me, Commissioner.
All hearts and minds are satisfied. Let's adjourn. It is 7:55 PM.